So it seems like we're starting out another video like this because Sophia just chirped and emerged from under the chair and hopped up into my lap. So this is the thing. Hey guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and today I am bringing you the stay-at-home book tag. So I was tagged in this by Monique from Book Witch Reviews, and I believe my pal Judith from Dead Good Book Reviews also did this and said consider yourself tagged, so I'm saying that Judith tagged me as well. I have been wanting to do a book tag for a while. I tend to not really get the chance to do them because I pre-quarantine was doing a really good job of planning out my videos before I actually shot them and edited them and popped them up online. Quarantine has screwed all that up now, so I have so much more free time to actually do stuff like tags. So I'm gonna do this one and I'm very excited. So I have all the prompts on my phone right now. I have Judith's video up because it was the first one that popped up, and I'm going to go ahead and do what she did and put all the questions in the description box down below. So if you're interested in doing this tag, you can just pull the questions from there. So the very first one is Laying in Bed, a book you can read in a day, and the one that always pops into my head is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is, as I've said a million times, because I have the third book in my TBR right now, this is not what I would normally pick up. It's YA contemporary, but it is a wonderfully geeky series, and it all centers around a convention for a TV show that has been rebooted into a film called Starfield, which is very like Star Trek meets Star Wars. And they're just delightfully geeky, wonderful, just fairy tale retellings, but they all have cosplay and conventions and like fandom, and they're just really, really great books. So I read this one, I remember, my parents were looking to get a house that they were going to retire into. They were going to leave London and retire where it was much cheaper to retire. And I was in the back seat, and I had this on my Kindle at the time because I had a early review copy, a digital copy, and I just devoured it and ignored my family. So I always think of this one when it comes to books I read in a day, because this one just took me a couple of hours and I was so delighted by it. Next is Snacking, a guilty pleasure read, and this is where I put in my disclaimer that I just don't believe in guilty pleasures anymore. Anything that brings you joy is a wonderful thing that should be celebrated, unless it's like highly illegal or something like that. But I know what this person is talking about. I know what they mean by the question, so I'm going to say the Selection series by, I think it's Kira Cass. These books are pure garbage. They are so trashy and wonderful and delightful, and I just devoured them. I love them so much. It's a totally ridiculous sort of early-ish YA fantasy series, basically kind of like The Bachelor, but in a fantasy world. All the girls of the kingdom basically go to audition to basically be on a TV show in which they are courted by the prince, and at the end the prince picks his new queen. So our main character, America Singer, is so not like other girls. I love these books so much, and she is one of the contestants, and she has been kind of chosen for this, but she also has this love, her childhood love, who's back home, and it's so ridiculous and so fun. They are amazing quarantine reads. The author's not the best person from what I know. I've heard some rumblings, but her bad behavior is pre kind of my time in YA, or even kind of in the bookish internet, so I don't have the most information, so you can go ahead and check that out if you like, but I do really enjoy these, and they are just so ridiculously fun. Next up is Netflix, and this is a series you want to start. Technically, I have very much started this series, but it was a very long time ago. I've talked about this multiple times on my channel, but it is never a bad time to bring up the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. This is, of course, a very, very well-known and beloved fantasy trilogy that spins off into many, many other connected trilogies. I've read the first two books, Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin. As I've said a million times, about probably 8 years ago now, Royal Assassin kicked my ass so hard. It broke my heart. I'm not the kind of person who gets like destroyed by books. It ruined me. The end of Royal Assassin absolutely destroyed me. I tried to pick up Assassin's Quest. This is actually my second copy of Assassin's Quest. And I couldn't do it. I just burst into tears about 20 pages in, and I was like, I can't do it. But I'm going to give this another try at some point. It's on the agenda at some point. I'm gonna read these. It's just, it might be a little while. Then we have Animal Crossing, a book you bought because of the hype. I hate this book so much. This is Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and I was so disappointed in this. I very much have this book as sort of the start of my distrust in hype, because I picked this book up because so many people were talking about how amazing it was. It had kind of shades of the Night Circus and all of that. No, absolutely none of that. I know that this is very beloved for a lot of people, but it was just one that did not work for me. I didn't like pretty much anything about it. I did a review of the second book, and that is as far as I've gotten in this series. It's a trilogy, and I can link that if you really want to see me trash the second book. Trash. It's my version of trashing, which is not trashing at all. But yeah, I can't deal with this series. It makes me so upset, but I still have the book because it is a very, very pretty book and it looks nice on my shelf, and I am very shallow. The next prompt is productivity. This is a book you have learned from. I chose I Am Thunder by Mohammed Khan. I was covering up the title there. This is a contemporary set YA book. Again, something that I normally wouldn't have picked up. I kind of requested it on a whim back in 2017, and I'm so glad that I read it because it has really stuck with me in a lot of ways. So not only did I learn a ton about being a teenager in Britain, because I did not grow up in Britain, but also it follows a girl who is from a Muslim family in a Muslim community, and this book is all about the people who radicalize Muslim teenagers in Britain, and it's absolutely fascinating. It is fantastic. There's a particular scene in this book that really, really has stuck with me for a very long time, where she is on a bus and there are a couple of sort of obnoxious white people who are harassing a Muslim woman, and it's one of the most powerful things that I've read, and it's just fantastic. Even if contemporary is not necessarily your thing, but you are interested in these kinds of issues, I would very much recommend picking this up because it is so good. So the next prompt is Deep Cleaning, and this is the book that has been on your TBR the longest. This was kind of a tough one because, as I have said before, when I moved from the US to the UK, I got rid of almost all of my books, so I kind of had a big TBR reset. However, I had a copy of this book when I was a kid, and I never read it. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one. This is The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams. This is a classic 80s fantasy, very much in kind of the vein of something like, Wheel of Time or Lord of the Rings, in that we have a character who's kind of the farm boy of destiny type, and it's a sprawling epic series. It's huge. I think this is 900 and something pages. Yeah, this is 930 pages or so. I've been wanting to read it for years. It is a 4-part series, and I believe, at least in the US editions, the 4th book is so long it's split into 2, which is not something that the US tends to do with long books, so that is very exciting. This is one I desperately want to read at some point. I am trying to get into my chunkier books, my bigger books, because they are something that can very much be sort of left behind with all the exciting new releases and wanting to chug through a ton of stuff every month. So I think I'm going to try to get to this soon because it's just been neglected by me for way too long. Then we have Facetime, which is a book you were gifted. This was gifted to me via an Amazon wishlist thread by my friend Imi, who is a UK blogger. This is The Glass Woman by Caroline Leah. This is one that I hauled fairly recently, so I'm not going to dive into it too much, but it is a historical fiction, kind of gothic-y feeling book set in Iceland about a woman who goes off to be married, goes to live in her husband's village, and there's lots of strange whisperings about her husband's first wife, and there are things that go bump in the night in their house. This sounds amazing. It's one that I've been actually eyeing quite a lot recently. I think I'm going to pick it up very soon because it sounds like such a fantastic read. The next prompt is self-care, which is just to talk about what kind of self-care you've been doing. I have been going back and forth, up and down with all kinds of self-care. I have been trying to run. That hasn't really worked out because I hate running. I have been trying to eat better, which hasn't worked out great because we keep ordering stress Dominoes. I have been trying to sleep more, but that hasn't worked out great because I have been staying up quite late. My self-care is all over the place. But actually fairly recently I decided to kind of tackle this, especially because I suspect that, at least in the UK, we are going to be in quarantine for a while longer, going to be working from home for much longer. I don't think my office is going to reopen anytime soon. and if it is, I'm not going back because I am vulnerable. So I've decided that I really need to get this in order. So part of my self-care is just sort of, it sounds like so obvious, but like taking care of myself a little bit better, getting more sleep, eating a little bit better, but also doing things like, you know, taking baths more often instead of showers because I love reading in the tub, or, you know, painting my nails. I ordered some like sheet masks to go with our food delivery that's coming tomorrow, and I'm gonna kind of like try to do stuff like that because I really enjoy that, and it's something that I feel like I can do while sort of reading or playing Animal Crossing or doing whatever. So I'm trying to kind of, I guess my self-care is more accepting the fact that I'm gonna be in quarantine for a while, and that the world is just gonna be weird for a while, and kind of try to take care of myself and keep the whole household happy. And last but not least, we have new releases that you're excited about. I feel like I don't know when anything is coming out anymore because at the beginning of the year I had said, you know, I'm going to do sort of bi-monthly new release videos, so for like January and February, and then March and April, and all of that has gone out the window because everything has completely changed. So I don't know technically when all of these books are coming out. They're coming out eventually. Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty I think is still due to come out just after my birthday in June, which I'm very excited for. Network Effect by Martha Wells, the full-length Murderbot novel, not novella. Doors of Eden by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is on my TBR for this month, but when I filmed that TBR I didn't realize it'd been pushed to October. So I'm probably not going to read that one anytime soon. Phoenix Extravagant by Yoon-Ha Lee is been pushed back from June to August, I think, but it is the May book for the Goldsboro Books SFF book club thingy, which is very exciting. So I'll be getting a like finished physical copy of that next month. Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Perry, who wrote The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep. That is another Goldsboro book pick that comes out in June, and I'm so excited for that. It's like French Revolution, magic, philosophy, wonderfulness. I love her writing. That's gonna be really, really good. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. It just seems that all of the dates have changed, so I'm going to be trying to keep a better eye on when things are coming out. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff this year that I'm very excited for. I just don't know when the hell I'm going to get my hands on it. So that is it for the stay-at-home book tag. If you want to do this tag, please feel free. Consider yourself tagged by me. But really quickly, I wanted to highlight Angela from Literature Science Alliance and Kayla from Kraken to a Good Book. I tag you guys and everyone else who wants to do this. I would love to see your videos. If you've already done this, definitely leave me a comment below and I will go and check it out. I post bookish content to this channel fairly frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe, check back soon, and I will see you next time.